focused on developing digitally led sustainable businesses. Is an experienced payment solution architect that previously led the Channel Solution Delivery Group in Access Bank before his appointment as the head of Africa FinTech Foundry. He is also equipped with a wealth of experience around leadership management, strategy, CX transformation, design thinking, solution architecture, enterprise capability, agile project management, and a unique forte to identify and nurture innovative opportunities. Please welcome with me a master strategist, dynamic in his ways, Mr. Daniel Awe. Thank you very much. Oh, that's what it's going to mean.
Yes, I can answer can have the presentation. While I wait for my presentation, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so you might need to show me. Oh, fantastic. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think my work it's a lot easier. Having listened to a few of the speakers, and I think I'm just going to share some of my little experience working in the ecosystem. And when I say ecosystem, um, we are talking about fintech in capital market. Um, seem to be an outlier in that space. I am more into fintech in financial services. And when I say financial services, I will talk about banking. I think I've seen the evolution of fintech and banking for the past 20 years or thereabout, where I have played different roles. I worked in the banking, the real core banking, starting with some teams during the days of electronic banking journey. Then I've transitioned into digital transformation as well. And I've worked with the regulators in policies and framework, which has also supported the entire ecosystem. I sit on the board of fintechs. I've been able to also orchestrate fintechs, and I've partnered with development organizations, and I've also supported funding agencies. So I've seen the entire ecosystem, and I can easily speak about how that ecosystem has involved the future and the Gen Zs and the millennials, right from 20 years ago, how we've been able to capture them into that ecosystem, into that market. You know, there's an adage in Africa. You say you don't stand in your father's farm and say my father's farm is bigger than another person's father's farm. But I think from the financial services, we are very comfortable to say we can stand and say we have a bigger farm over the other father's farm. That's the capital market, based on the journey that has happened in the last 20 years in financial services, and give an insight on what that farm has done to have created a bigger market, and probably recommendation to the new players that will be coming in into the capital market. And I think I'm a bit excited with Mrs. Afsat about what the regulators are doing. Probably I learned a lot listening to her, because maybe we're not aware of a lot of um, technology actions that the regulators are taking, and probably there seems to be some disconnection between that capital market players. When I say capital market players, we talk about the regulators, we talk about the key players who are involved in orchestrating the trades, and we also talk about the consumers. So my presentation is very short. Like I said earlier on, I'm just going to speak based on my little experience over the years. And when we speak about fintech, everybody talk about fintech, fintech, fintech. What is fintech? Um, we have quite a lot of them, and everybody just say, oh, we have fintech businesses here and there. What do they do? What exactly is fintech about? Fintech is a very, very simple word. It's just people who are able to bring technology to solve very simple problem, not big problem, and create an experience. You know, when you say experience, what a fintech can pick just a fraction of what a big bank is doing, improve on it, solve the problem, build a user experience that at the end of the day, it creates a new business model, it creates a new economy, right? I mean, there is nothing so special about fintech that is not more than that. I mean, we've seen the likes of PiggyVest. All they do is savings. Savings is not something new. It has always been existence in banking. They brought it out, improve on it, make it a big deal, and sell it to the audience they wanted. And I think almost all the Gen Zs today, they probably have one account or the other in PiggyVest and other players within that space. We've seen what Paystack has done. We've seen what Flutterwave has done. Flutterwave is just doing maybe a fraction of what InterSwitch is all about. Improve on it and make payment a lot easier. Like I said earlier on, the purpose, the role of fintechs in financial services, that has created access to new markets, new players, new people, new consumers. Those activities, solving problems, creating experience, has brought in a lot of access. It has improved efficiency. It has improved payment systems. It has also created personalized services. You've seen where all someone needs just savings, nothing more than that. I want to get my money and save it. I get my salary is in the bank, but I want somewhere I can save. And the way they've sold it, very easy. And definitely, they've also been able to solve a lot of leverage on regulatory solutions to solve some problems. Now, like I said earlier on, I try to put two markets together, the capital market and the financial services. And just for purpose of clarity, when I'm talking about capital market here, I'm going to take a little bit of that market out of the conversation. So I'm not going to add crypto markets because crypto, it's not adding to our economy. So, and from the financial services, we are not always the best of friends with crypto because of our own regulator. And I would rather focus on the equity, bond, etc. Businesses of the capital market. When we look at the financial services, today we have about 76 million adults with accounts in Nigeria, with a growth from 48% financial inclusion to 64% in 2023. And when I say 76 million accounts, I know the CEO of FCSL said about 150 million accounts earlier on. She's very correct because when you say 76 million customers, you see somebody who have an account in GT Bank, have an account in UBA, have an account in Wema Bank and other stuff. So accounts is definitely over 100 million plus, but customers is about 76.9 million or 80 million, or 77 million or thereabout. When you look at the growth in the capital market, it's about 4.2% inclusion, which means about 4.2% of Nigerians that play in that space. Now, why do we have so much disparity? We have here about 76 million, 64.1% inclusion. Here we have about 4.2%, probably average of about, I mean, there's so much data all over the places. So I'm not going to bug myself with the data because everybody, maybe for some point we need to harmonize all this data because I look at this platform, I see this data, listen to this person, I see this data and all that stuff. But the most important thing is that the principle is very clear, you understand? So whatever the data is doesn't really matter. But we have 4.2% inclusion, we have 64% inclusion here. Why do we have this much? Why do we have this number of people in the financial services and we have 4.2 here? The biggest thing that has happened to banking, if you look at banking, after COVID, the growth went well over 20%. there has been a lot of digital transformation in banking. That is one of the things that is driving the players there. Um, Today we are seeing POS terminals. Everybody is saying I'm doing POS business, but I will tell you the truth that that's also a fintech. You see those guys that carry POS terminal and pay you cash. That's also a fintech business, and probably we're just seeing it in Lagos. It's been in existence for a long time outside of Lagos, outside of Southwest. Those are one of the things that has helped the market to grow tremendously. Now, this just shows a high level of where we are in terms of the two markets. And we're all looking at emerging consumers. How do they come into capital market? Let's look at the demography of Nigeria in terms of the age distribution. We have about 50% of Nigerians less than under 18. We have 26% between the age of 18 and 35, and 35% above, 24% above, that's 35 and above. Please, just my data, even we said Nigeria, we are 220 million. So nobody knows the real number of who we are. So we're all working with numbers that come to our brain. But these are just things to walk around with. So if you have a different data, please just pardon me. So who are the people we are targeting in the capital market that we think we can bring in? How can fintech bring these people in? Which means we are looking at the 50 plus the 20 plus the 26%. That's about 76%. And these people, what are they doing today? Where are they today? We need to ask those kind of questions, right? Most of these people are in the banking sector today because of what has happened in banking. Fintech, you see Piggyvest, you see Kuda, you see etc. And because of even the challenges from the fintechs, even the banks themselves, they are challenged. So there's no more, I am a traditional bank. Every bank is even seeing themselves as a fintech because the basic tool that you need to acquire customers, the basic tool you need to engage customers to do their transaction. If you're a bank today and you don't have a mobile app, you are just not a bank. And I will tell you a story about mobile app. I have just 20 minutes, so I'll just try and pick the important points. Mobile app today in 2009, I think 2009 precisely, I used to work with Diamond Bank those days. And I sat down with the CEO and I told the CEO that, sir, the future of banking is a mobile app. That if we don't take that position today, we are not going to win in the market in the next 5 years. And he said, okay. He said, so what do we do? I said, we need to develop a mobile. And then there was no, Android was not this popular. Apple wasn't this popular. We only had Microsoft phone. That was after the failure of Nokia, and they were eventually taken by Microsoft, and BlackBerry, for those that can remember BlackBerry then. So, so I spoke to the CEO and I said, we need to build a mobile app. And he said, okay, Daniel, I'll give you the assignment, go and build it. So I went to do the cost of developing a mobile app. So I came back with about $100,000 for us to build this thing. That was $100,000 then was about 11 point something million naira. Dollar was about 120 naira or thereabouts. So I told the DMD then, that was Uzoma, that it will cost me $100,000. He said, Daniel, we don't have the budget. I said, so, but this is our future. He said, but we don't have the budget. It's not in your budget, so we can't do it. I said, okay, can you allow me to go and do this thing, partner with somebody, build it free of charge, and we do a revenue share? I said, that's fine. After all, we don't make money there. We don't have it today. And I called a partner, and I told that partner, I said, you know what, let's build a mobile app. This is the future of banking. So we built a mobile app. We tested it, but guess what? Nobody was using it. It was just sitting down there. And that was the birth of the, for those who knows Diamond Mobile, it used to be a famous mobile app, That was the birth of Diamond Mobile. So for almost 6 months. And I told the partner that, you know what, you are going to make so much money. Let's do revenue share. I did an analysis. I said, if you have 500,000 people using this mobile app, if you can make 100 naira profit per year, that's about 50 million naira profit. And we share this thing with the bank, 50-50. And guess what? 6 months, the guy called me, Dennis, he's an Irishman. He said, Daniel, we've only made 12,000 naira profit. I said, don't worry, it's going to happen. He said, but since you have this strategy, I said, don't worry, it's happening. Things are going to change. But guess what? That was to tell you where we were those days. And all of a sudden, I was in a lift with the CEO. I said, Uzoma, I've done my best, but this is not picking up. Then we started some strategy. We first stopped all the staff of the bank. Nobody must do anything without using the mobile app. You want your transfer, your balance, etc. We started that. Then the next thing, we just did a promo in the markets, and but today, nobody can imagine there is a bank that does not have a mobile app. You are dead. Your mobile app cannot even go down for 1 hour. Then I will give you another example. Covenant University. I was there at some point, and we look at the students. I came back to Diamond Bank. I said, we need to do some strategy with these universities. Let's take charge of their ID card. Let's create an ID card that is a payment card. And this card has payments, ID card, multifunction. We tried it with Covenant. Today, most of the customers that Diamond Bank built were youth from Covenant those days. And I think we replaced a few universities, and I don't know what happened afterwards. So the thinking is that if you are not strategically thinking and positioning what the next generation are looking for, you are never going to win in the market. That's it. And there must be a collaboration. In Nigeria today, we have almost 122 million internet users. What are they using their internet for? That's another question we need to ask. Why is it only 4.2% of them are in the capital market? We have close to about 64% smartphone penetration. What are they doing with their phone? That's another question we need to ask. On a yearly basis, we are consuming close to about 200 terabytes of data growth every year. What are they doing with that data? And these are the people we are targeting as the next generation investors, right? So the factors that are influencing the growth of fintech in the financial services, the key thing that has happened in the financial services, about 3 key factors that has influenced it. The first of them, and I will go back to my regulator, Madam Hafsat. The policy from central bank was one of the biggest transformation that has built that market. I was part of the team that developed the CBN payment strategy 2020, and we did that strategy in 2010. So we sat down in 2010. I was part of that team and said, where do we see the payment landscape in the next 10 years? So that guided the entire industry on how they're going to play. Then in 2019, Central Bank called a team of us again that now we are almost at the end of the strategy. We need to build another strategy for the next 10 years. So a few of us were put together by CBN, and in that case, we said this time around we need to look beyond Nigeria. So we went to Singapore, we went to China, look at their space, then how do we build a Nigerian market that solves Nigerian problem? Then we did another strategy. And this time, I remember in the meeting, I told the CBN people, I said, look, we can't do another 10-year strategy because the rate at which things are changing. You can't even do a 3-year strategy again. Before you finish the strategy, things will have changed. You probably will be outdated. So we came up with PSV 2025. That's another 5 years. So the regulator involvement, and I'm sure we all know about cashless policy, we all know about the open banking framework, we all know about so many other things, the startup bills, etc., which CBN was one of the key players. They were very, very instrumental in the development of that market, which has brought in a lot of youth into the financial services. We don't know what those things have made. Number 2, the entrance of fintech. The moment, of course, a lot of the fintechs too, let's be realistic. The moment you bring up something, you can easily get some millions of dollars, and all of them too also want to become millionaires. But over and beyond that, they already see that if I create something, I have market already. The moment you launch a new product, there are people that are ready to take up. So the entrance of the fintechs actually open up the market totally. And because of the acceptance of the consumers, they look at the consumers, what problem can I solve? And because I still sit in an ecosystem driver, everybody is still thinking, because the people who are doing the work are still the same next-gen consumers. I haven't seen a founder that is over 45 or over 40. All the some founders I've been meeting, they are all very, very young guys, and they know what they want, and they are solving the problem. And central bank has created a lot of journey to accept them into that market. So those things are the things that have that has grown the market. And the last of it is the adoption of technology by the key players. The banks have realized that, you know what, we are dead if we don't accept this thing. I don't know how much has been accepted by the key players in the capital market. But the banks, just to mention any bank, there's nothing like old bank anymore. So you must be thinking like a fintech as a bank now, because there is no more, I'm the only one that have this. There's nothing you have anymore. There was that acceptance by the key players. I was talking to the CEO of a mortgage bank. He was telling me that we have to do so many data transformation. And I said, I said, Oga, what's your value proposition? By the time he came and articulated it, I was smiling. I said, nobody wants to be left behind. Capital market players, I hope those who are in the room are also in that space to accept the reality of transformation. But we are talking about these emerging consumers. Do they really spend their money? Absolutely yes. The two major places they are spending their money is on cryptocurrency and gaming. Don't let me call it gambling. And these are just from data. So if I show any data, some of these data, so probably where you are getting is where I got my own too. But so just pardon me. But from the data I have, I'm aware that we spend over 400 million naira in volume of transaction in Nigeria. That's the data we have. You understand? But I think Afiz also made mention of that at some point. Today, we have almost $975 million being spent on gaming platforms, online gaming, etc. So these guys are actually looking for where to spend their money. And what are the things? Why are they not in the capital market? I mean, like I said earlier on, I've taken out crypto from the capital market. You understand? So there must be an acceptance by them, and there must be an experience. They must experience it. If you have not created that experience, you are not ready to start. And either the experience is there, the awareness is not there. Today, if you turn anywhere, you probably will have heard somebody speak about cryptocurrency 10 times before someone is talking about the capital market. You probably have heard about somebody speak about the forex market 20 times before the capital market. And I try to restrict my conversation to Nigerian market, but the capital market actually has built some capability that can make life easy for the next gen consumers. And I try to pick a few of the capability. Fractional shares, it's one of the capabilities in capital market today, where people can buy a little bit of shares and all that stuff. I don't know if we have that in Nigeria. I don't know if that has been adopted, but this is one of the capability in capital market that definitely will entice a lot of the next gen consumers. I won't spend so much time on robo-advisor. Robo-advisor is now becoming one of the buzzwords in capital market. You know, an AI with its algorithmic thinking to help you take decisions on what you should do and other stuff. And with all the cost savings that it comes with, you don't need to go and look for an investor. You don't need to be experienced to get into the investment space. Of course, big data, AI, all those things are available to help deepen the next gen consumers, the next gen investors into the capital market. I've spoken about mobile app earlier on. It's an engagement layer. If you have not been able to create an engagement layer that the consumers will be able to connect with, because today is no more just a mobile app, it's not just an internet banking, it's not just web anymore. There must be some connection. You should be able to sit down and look at it and love it. You know, we launched a mobile app some times ago, and just a little bit of let me just digress a little bit. We launched a mobile app some times ago in Access Bank. So that mobile app has a video, and there was a Twitter trend And some Gen Zs was like, this mobile app, all I just need to do is just to open this, watch this video, and close it back. I mean, for those who have seen the video, who understand what they're talking about. There must be a connection. And if you have not done that connection, there must be an experience. And that's exactly what the next gen investors are looking for. Some of them are probably not even looking for the revenue they're going to make in the immediate, but there must be that acceptance. I try to look at the barriers. I try to look at the barriers in that market. I could be wrong, but based on my little research, of course, awareness is a major problem. There has been a lot of lack of. For some of us who have invested, we invested because it was as if our head was cut open, our brain was sliced, and they told us put the money in there, because it wasn't something that we picked just on the road. And today, some people, to get into cryptocurrency today, those children, you don't even need to explain anything. They know, they find a way. They just, how they get in there. No, they don't need to do any training, no lecture. Those are the barriers that I think is one of the key issues. Of course, limited availability of digital solutions. There are so many digital platforms today for other. Sorry, I'll soon be done. Don't worry. I know you're telling me time, Abby. Limited availability of platforms, regulatory and institutional barriers. Hopefully, maybe I'm wrong, but I think is one of the things, because I'm aware you can't advertise. So maybe those are one of the reasons why, because you will have, so many banks will have flashed 10 times in your face, fintech will have flashed 20 times in your face, and you don't even, nobody can advertise in the capital market. I don't know. So probably, of course, alternative investment platforms are just over there. And just to look at a few players in that space, and when I look at these few players, I mean fintechs, and compare them, the number of their customers to the entire market size. These are just very few players. You know, look at Bamboo, look at Rise, Verse, look at all of them. They are almost have taken, if not for these people, probably the number in the capital market wouldn't even have gotten to 4.2% or whatever we call it. So, which means, imagine we have 20 of these guys, 30 of these guys, then the potential of deepening that market with the next gen investors will be very, very high. I just try to speak a little bit on the next gen investors that are in the room, based on my experience and a few literature, and how can they get in, even in spite of the current availability of platforms. Of course, they need to educate themselves, choose the platform, start small, develop a strategy, stay disciplined. And the benefits are very huge, of course, of starting at a very young age. The power of compound interests. When you are young, you have that, the habits to be very disciplined. You are able to build diversified portfolio, potential for high returns. And for the other players that are within that market, my recommendation for them is to work around the infrastructure development. I think a few people have spoken about cloud technology, AI, of course, education and awareness, then regulatory support, then collaboration with startups, with fintechs and other players. And the call to action, probably this is for everybody. Either you're a player, you're a next-gen investor. You need to be able to empower yourself. If you're a player, get the right technology, get the right digital transformation strategy. If you are a next-gen investor, definitely empower yourself too with the right tool, with the right understanding. Start your journey, seek guidance, do your research very well. Innovation, you're never going to stop talking about innovation. And the key takeaways, of course, we have seen a lot of paradigm shifts in that market, and hopefully it's consistent, it continues. Of course, we're seeing some startups coming up with investments made easy, while some people are just passionate about investing in equities that is impact driven, and the future of technology in capital market is definitely the only way the markets can win. On this note, I want to say a very big thank you.